Hello and welcome back. Today we're going over one of the most controversial as well as used and loved weapons of all within the game. This is Soma Prime. Now the reason I say it's controversial is because there are a few people that absolutely hate this weapon. I will admit I wasn't the biggest fan of it until I kind of got used to modding and how to mod, etc. Some might argue that I still have no idea how to mod, but you know what? I say fuck you to those people. Now, since Rivens have actually got involved, this weapon has hit a new level on what is considered to be near enough god tier weapons, modding regimes, etc. etc. And this is probably one of the main weapons that actually took Riven Mods down a notch. Because, to be honest, when Riven Mods came out, all anyone wanted was a Soma Prime Riven with critical chance and critical damage. Perhaps maybe a bit of punch through, multi-shot, a variety of other things. But the main ones being critical chance and critical damage. Now, in the builds that I'm going to be showing, I do have a Riven mod on. However, they are not as high a tier as what people would say to what most would like. I do have a bit of critical damage on there, but not too much. It's mainly focused around status, believe it or not. I have a hybrid build on this, and I would like to share it with you. Now, because of that, I'm instantly going to say to people, because I guarantee there's going to be someone that says this build is absolutely crap, and I should probably go bury my head in the sand somewhere. To those people, seriously, if you don't like it, just press the back button on the top left of your browser now, okay? Because I don't care. This works for me. I hope it works for you, and to be honest, I find this more effective than having a Soma Prime that has over 100% critical chance, because status, I think, personally, works better late game. Okay, and I'm talking over level 100, I'm not talking up to sortie level. For me, sortie is still early days within the game, anyone can do sortie. And yes, you can get some big, lovely numbers. I've seen a Soma Prime in the hands of a Banshee. I even use Soma Prime on my Banshee, adding in sonar and etc. etc. Silence if you've got the augment as well for the slash damage. You can hit some seriously high numbers, but once those enemies hit level, I don't know, say 4,000, that 2 billion damage that you're getting, it's still fuck all. It is fuck all. So for me, status is the way forward, because the EHP effect of wiping out their armour is much more damage than you could possibly ever do with any weapon, with any setup, with any team compilation that you can get. So because of that, I went soul searching for a different type of Riven mod. So the first build I actually have is a corrosive build. It still uses critical chance, I won't lie, just because the overall damage effect of Soma is quite low. So there is still crits on there, but it's not above 75%. I simply just use point strike. Now the status on this weapon is approximately 50%, and this is what you can do with said build. I showed it quickly with one corrupted heavy gun at level 145. This is 6 of them. I prefer using this weapon on something like a Slow Nova, just because you get the extra damage buff effectively from using Molecular Prime, and the overall effect I personally think is worth it. I don't use this weapon to absolutely nuke individual targets. I use it to whittle down groups of enemies, which I think is a better way to use this weapon. I find it mainly effective against Grineer and some Corpus, depending on how you've modded it. And to be honest, it is a good weapon. I just find the massive spamming of your magazine to be the biggest problem. The second build I'm showing here, although it is still of the same build, as you can see it's still under build 1, but I've just swapped out corrosive for viral. Against corrupted heavy gunners, it's not as effective, but it is still effective. And then the second build, this is a higher status chance, less actual critical damage, but this is viral and radiation. This does work better against Corpus. However, again, I am showing against corrupted heavy gunners because, let's face it, they are the bane of our existence at high level. The fourth one, and this is the one I prefer to use at higher levels, it's corrosive and blast. Again, it's not as much critical damage, it's higher status chance, but the overall effect of it is just, for me, I think it's amazing, because it's basically just becomes a crowd control spamming god. Along with the fact that you get quite a lot of slash procs, you get quite a lot of corrosive procs, so you can whittle down armor quite quickly. You can just burn through entire mobs pretty darn effectively, and the overall effect and ease of the weapon is very good. Adding in, again, like I said, using it with Slow Nova is quite great, because when they get knocked down they take a while to get back up. This gives you some breathing room, some room to maneuver, and the overall effect, as I keep saying, is just good. So hopefully you like this build as much as I do. Now, despite the fact that I have said effect or overall effect or some derivative of about 90 times in this video, I'm hoping it is portraying it in a way in which I think this weapon can be used in a different way, in which you possibly haven't seen before. With the setup I have got, I've been able to take my Soma Prime into higher and higher levels. So, if you allow me, I wish to share my wondrous build with you now. And as I said, I have got a Riven. Other than that, I'm using Serration, Malignant Force, Vital Sense, Hammer Shot, Point Strike, Split Chamber and High Voltage. Now, you can swap the elements around as much as you want, but the Soma Riven mod I have on is an increase in critical damage, multi-shot and status chance. I'm actually not too bothered about the increase in critical damage, and the second build I have is Malignant Force, High Voltage, Serration, Ryan Rounds, Thermite Round, Split Chamber and Point Strike. As you can see, I've got all 4 elemental mods on there. It does decrease my overall critical damage, but the increase in status chance is very much well worth it. Now, if you don't have a Riven mod, you've possibly gone for a build similar to this, maybe not bladed rounds, you might be using Argon Scope, and the 8th mod is entirely up to you. I have seen some people use things like Heavy Caliber, perhaps. Obviously that has its own downsides, perhaps Fanged Fusillade, Shred. You know, there's a lot of things you can actually do with this weapon, but it's mainly focused around crits just to get the damage up. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Ta-ra!